Hello. Welcome to the game dungeon. Tonight, we are killing time. Yeah, this is a game a few people have been telling me to play, even though I had heard it was bad. But there was more than one version. First it came out for the 3DO, but then a year later, on Halloween, it came out for PC, and I'm told that one was better. Well, let's find out.
I'm off the rocky coast of Maine, heading toward the island of Matinicus, alone.
Whoa.
My Egyptology professor, Dr. Hargrove, was always recounting his trips to northern Africa in the 1930s and his search for a mystical water clock from the dynasty of the Pharaoh Ramses. The clock supposedly had powers to grant everlasting life. Claimed he found it once, but whatever Hargrove found mysteriously disappeared after a visit by the expedition's patron, Tess Conway.
Okay, I guess this intro is just one long sentence. They really just thrust information at you and expect you to figure it out. Tess was obsessed with this Egyptian artifact said to grant eternal life. She was throwing Great Gatsby-style parties. Then everyone disappeared in 1932. And now you're here and your watch has stopped.
My watch has stopped.
And that's our intro. Now this is a 90s first-person shooter, and I'm always a little hesitant about these. But to help with the process, there's actually been a fan-made patch for this game. And it includes some fixes and... Okay, we are good to go then. It's still resolution locked, but we have mouse aiming. We are kings among men. Let's get started. Wow, they're leaning in hard on this Egyptian theme, huh? Got a gun. These crabs are annoying, but good jib effects. Okay, I found a passage. Push the block. There's another passage, but that's it. Nothing. So what? I'm stuck already? I'm not seeing anything obvious on the map. Oh wait, this is the wrong game. Yeah, there we go. Okay, this looks good. This looks very good for 96. And I don't mean the graphics, but the level design. We have a mood. See, what strikes me immediately is that this looks like some sort of harbor. We have an ocean, mountains. Now, you might be saying, so what? But we cannot take something resembling the real world for granted in a 90s FPS. Okay, there are many examples of this, but let's just pick Doom. That's a popular 90s shooter. Okay, here's the beginning of Doom. What the hell are we looking at? Okay, story-wise, this is supposed to be a moon base on Phobos. But what about this design says that, aside from the computer panels near the ceiling? Where have you seen architecture like this? Maybe some malls might have an area kind of like this, or this might be a not-so-defined portion connecting the mall to a parking garage. Outside, I think those mountains are from China, and an open courtyard to nothing. What mood does this architecture give you? It gives me a feeling like these are just shapes that sort of look like something, but don't really resemble anything. This has always bugged me about Doom and many 90s shooters, and that the map design just feels very abstract. This isn't a technology limitation, it's a design decision. And that doesn't mean I only like realistic architecture, I like fantastic settings too. But I like them to look like something. A whole lot of 90s FPSs just look like semi-randomly designed rooms of geometric shapes, and that just creeps into my brain in a way I don't like. I think Lovecraft talked about this sort of thing. But Killing Time is not doing this. Or not yet. This looks like a boat and a dock and a shack next to a dock. Fantastic first impression. It feels like a real building inside too. It's on a roll. Uh-oh. I'm out. I can't pistol whip him? There's no melee weapon? I'm literally defenseless now. Man, 6 rounds and that didn't drop him, huh? Is it one of those kinds of games? You know what, I'm gonna restart. I think I maybe shouldn't have gone that way first. Now you could say that's a design flaw, but I don't think so. I think most players don't actually need or want everything spoon-fed to them, as long as the game makes it obvious you're doing something wrong, and there are obvious alternatives you haven't tried. That's the main thing. And hey, here we go! Ammo for my gun! And a crowbar! Oh good. I'm glad I don't have to smash open every single crate looking for supplies. because that would be a lot of crates. Now let's do this. 7 shots. Still a bit much for a starter enemy. How about this one? 9 shots. This one? Okay, I missed a few here, but counting the ones I hit, this guy takes 11 shots to bring down. Geez, kinda spongy. But you know what? I have mouse aiming. I'm not gonna complain. And now time for some story. Yeah, we get story from these apparitions of Tess, where she says, "Help me."
Help me.
Then sit and wait for a 7th guest style cutscene.
I'm gonna need you down at the dock tonight. We're expecting another shipment of arms.
Well, boss, where am I gonna put all this stuff? I mean, the storage room is almost full. I can't even walk in there.
Guess you'll just have to stash it around the grounds.
Well, I don't like it.
Oh! Did you see what they did there? They're providing an excuse why there's ammo all over the place. Wow, that's above and beyond. I have not seen many shooters do that before, especially by 96. Oh, and I should apologize right now. This episode's going to be jittery. The only downside to having mouse aiming is it's not smooth. It twitches a bit when you look up and down. And I am not going back to keyboard aiming, so that's just all there is to it. Onward! Yeah, look at this. We have a path along a cliff, like you might see in real life, as opposed to just some random stairway leading to another random room that is just sort of there. And an estate courtyard. And it's zombie time. Man, they are soaking up those bullets. When they die, sometimes they drop an orb. The red orb takes 20% of your health, and I think that's it. So I guess I shouldn't pick those up. The blue orbs give you 20%. That mechanic doesn't really do anything for me, it's just sort of there. I clear the zombies and 3 bullets left. Man. But look at this courtyard! Was design like this for shooters so hard? More guys! I guess it's crowbar time! The crowbar does more damage than the pistol, which according to the manual is a 45, so I think our pistol should be doing more damage, but it's a game. The crowbar's not great though. Yeah, I'm almost dead. But not to fear. I have the Doom mentality of leave supplies on the ground that you might need later beaten into me. And this is why. Shotgun! It's okay. Better than the pistol. And wow, this feels cramped. It's not just that there are crates everywhere. It's that you kind of stick to them a little bit when you bump into them. They don't stop you 100%, but there is serious friction going on here that is not a lot of fun to navigate. Oh, a new gun! Hold on, this is a 90s game, so I'm required by law to play this.
A Tommy gun!
There we go. It's also alright. It uses the same ammo as the pistol and does more damage per shot. So really, I can't think of a reason to use the pistol again. Maybe the Tommy gun is slightly less accurate, but not by much. I don't even consider something like this a design flaw. Just as long as I have a gun that drops people, I'm not too picky.
Help me. Help me. Help me.
You said that.
Please. Gather my spiritual essence from the different symbols which lie around this island.
Well, you heard the lady. Let's gather her spiritual essence. Wow, look at that estate. See, we don't need state-of-the-art graphics to have good design. This feels like a mansion. And listen to that atmosphere. Ooh. This is exactly what I want for Halloween. I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop though, since Realms of the Haunting started off good too, then went to other places. But here we have a creepy hedge maze with zombies in it. This is good. The shotgun is very ammo efficient. I get the feeling this is going to be my workhorse weapon. That almost got a jump out of me. Yeah, it's a little confusing since even though there's directional sound, it can be misleading, where it sounds like the enemy is really close to you, but then maybe farther away. Well, I cleared the hedge maze. This door is locked. I guess we're going into the mansion.
I'm afraid you'll need an invitation. This is an exclusive party.
Oh, it's an invisible wall! I am not invited! I guess I have to find another way. Also, it's worth pointing out that there's this nasty pop in the audio when I switch areas. Listen to this. I don't know if that's the original game or just running it on a modern system, though. I'll filter it out in editing for you guys. Look at this wilderness. We have a sprite forest, multiple paths, a moody setting. This is such a breath of fresh air for 90s shooters. I'm loving this. We also have two-headed dogs. I was gonna say Cerberus dogs, but I caught myself because that would be 3 heads. Yeah. There's also some guys out in the woods stalking you with guns, so, you know, like real life. Really, I have nothing but good things to say about this. We have a seaside cliff, a kennel. Down, boy, down! You can head off path. The pacing is very open-ended. The combat is pretty solid too. While fighting between the tree sprites is a little annoying, it's a small price to pay for this kind of atmosphere. This map design is so unlike every Doom-era first-person shooter I've played. I'm being given a lot of ammo too. I guess this was to balance for keyboard aiming. I'm practically tripping over it. It's everywhere. So this is a solid shooter with exploration way ahead of its time. I mean, we had this kind of roaming in Eternum too, but that wasn't really a shooter. I know some RPGs at the time had design more like this. This did come out about a month after Daggerfall, so I guess it doesn't top that for Wilderness. But that's an RPG. I want to say for 96 and earlier, this is the best looking Wilderness I've seen in a first-person shooter. I mean, yeah, it's crude by modern standards, but you can't say this doesn't have a mood. In fact, I haven't seen a lot that gives you this kind of experience. And just by wandering around, I find the guest mansion, I guess. I love this. I love games where you just keep wandering and discover more and more. Oh, we have infighting! Excellent. I honestly can never get enough of your enemies fighting with each other. The more motivated, the better. And we can have akimbo pistols. Huh. They're still equally weak, but you can shoot them twice as much. But since the Tommy gun uses the same ammo and still does more damage, I really can't see the reason to use them. Again, this is not a problem. I even have to go out of my way to switch to these since I have to select the pistol twice to arm them. Oh, come on, look at that zigzag pattern. Yeah, that's the thing about sprite enemies, is when they turn, they can change their hitbox location in a split second. So it's almost like they have a mini teleport ability when they zigzag like that. And a second floor. Yeah, I can't say this level is my favorite, but it's not even a level. Well, architecturally it is, but it's the same smaller mansion in the middle of the forest. So this all feels like it kind of belongs. See, we can see the outside from the balcony. It's all connected. We're still awfully light on story though. I'm not sure why I'm here, but that's okay. I bring that up because this could just be a private hunting lodge that I'm invading and murdering everyone and their two-headed dogs on their property. I would like more context, but you know, exploring other people's property and shooting everyone you see is kind of its own reward. Aha! RSVP! This must be the invitation. It's coming together now. Well, I want to see more of the wilderness before we go back in. It's kind of more the same, but it's great. Also, if I was loaded like Tess, I can't say I wouldn't erect random statues around an island. So I can't judge here. I might do something like this too.
This will be the perfect base for our operations. Not too far from the mainland, but private. And the Conway's name is like gold.
What makes you think that Tess is going to go along with it?
So long as I keep her in gin and relics.
Women and their
Keep her
relics.
nose out of our business.
What makes you think a blue-blood dame like that is going to marry you?
She will, Mike. She will.
Yeah, well, just remember, you're just a common bootlegger. Hey.
Don't ever call me that! I'm a businessman.
You know, there might actually be some truth to this. I've heard a lot of business executives can be surprisingly thin-skinned, and if you call them just a businessman instead of a visionary or someone who is changing the world, oddly enough, that can be a scathing insult. I never would have thought of that, but it seems like there's a similar mentality going on here with the bootlegger. Okay, I'm seeing new enemies. Maybe I should head back to the obvious path of back to the mansion before straying too far. But I like how it's not written out for me what I should do. You know, as long as I can't screw myself. I think that's a big element of what makes a game feel gamey, is if everything is laid out for you and the game is shouting at you what to do next, or if it feels like the game is its own little world and you're just stumbling into it. I mean, it's all an illusion, but when it feels like the game is independent of me as the player, that can draw me in a lot more, and Killing Time is definitely giving me some of that feeling. Back to the mansion. Oh, we have clowns? Yeah, sure, why not? Why are there so many clowns? Is this what rich people did in the 30s? There's no TV, so just bring clowns to your estate by the boatload? I kind of think one shotgun blast to the chest should be enough to take out a clown, but what can you do? Whoa, what's going on? Is that a cloud? Oh, it's an evil cloud. How am I supposed to attack a cloud? What happened? Where'd it go? Did I kill it? See, I wouldn't have thought a shotgun would be an effective weapon against a cloud, but I guess all bets are off. A lot of clowns. Yeah, if you're someone who's frustrated that there haven't been a lot of games where you can blow away clowns with a shotgun, then Killing Time is doing a decent job. It's nice to see that gap being filled. I'm not sure I've seen the last of them either. I keep hearing them, but can't find them. See? There!
And your mother's reaction? Not a tear. She just up and joined the women's
There it is again!
Union. Duncan wouldn't be in business if it weren't for them.
Yes, well.
Hovering red skulls. Sure. Their death animation kind of looks like the lost souls from Doom. Actually, I'm seeing a few similarities with the animations in Doom. I actually don't know what engine this is. I mean, it looks a little more advanced than Doom, but not as detailed as Duke Nukem 3D. Although I should say Doom at the time. There's no limit to what people will do with Doom. Look at this. This is from the Doom 2 engine. Well, it's probably nothing open, otherwise we'd be in a widescreen port right now. Yeah, this is not wide. Damn, this is a tight space. Remember, that friction from bumping against the wall does not go away. That makes this all feel even tighter than it is. Yeah, is this corridor shooter enough for you? Okay, I ran out of freaking ammo. And it's not like I was missing a lot. They just take a lot of lead. I mean, you can see some of my handiwork. Well, you know what? That's okay. We can backtrack. Our cup runneth over back in the woods, so let's go restock. Oddly enough, I kind of like this. It's like we're kicking so much ass the game wasn't ready for this. So we have to take a break to have a supply run, so we can come back and keep on shooting. All stocked up. Back to the grindstone. Man, it really is just slow, gradual room clearing. I can't say I like this level design, but it does feel like a hotel or a mansion, and I know it's probably limited to just this area, so it's tolerable. Plus, it's so jam-packed with skulls and clowns, that keeps me busy for sure. Okay, and I think that's all of them, and there wasn't actually a point to any of this. There was no new area or a key. Just me shooting up a bunch of clowns. That's okay. I don't regret it. We are looking for a key though. There are several locked doors. There's also some more story. Tess's parents died. She's the heiress, so she's been throwing constant parties and has hookups with the smuggler from earlier so she can have a constant supply of booze during Prohibition. But it really feels like it's all towards her getting the Egyptian artifact, whom she has another friend into Egyptology to help out with. I think they're both in love with her, but it sure seems like she's just using them. She has some venomous rivalry going with another one of her friends who's jealous of her, and the butler does not approve of what's going on.
Why do you associate with this De Vries character? He's not of your ilk.
Duncan is my friend, Robert. He gets me things.
It's exactly those things that worry me.
He's building an arsenal in the storeroom.
Please, Robert. I'm tired.
And there are gangsters in the garden.
Well, hand them some pruning shears. The hedge is atrocious.
Gun runners get all the girls. It does feel like this place was a powder keg even before all the skulls and clowns took over. But we don't know exactly what happened. A little mystery to go with our shooting. And shooting is what we are doing. A new area. A lot of shooting. I don't like having to take out all the succubi maids, but it's either them or me. Also, the big maids kind of remind me of the cafeteria ladies from middle and high school. I never got the vibe they were evil. More like they had just seen a lot, you know? I can't understand what she's saying. This is my island, yardle, yardle, yardle. Wow, this took a lot of shooting. But they actually gave me sufficient ammo this time. I admit, this is kind of a slog, but it's a fun one. It feels like you're progressing, one blast at a time. It's like having a job where literally all your work gets done as long as you keep firing a shotgun. Not many jobs like that. I wish the giant cockroaches didn't take 2 shotgun blasts. Everything in this game takes 2 shotgun blasts. Except for the zombie gardeners. Actually, I think the red skulls can go down in 1 shot if every single pellet goes in, but I'm not 100% on that. There are way too many cockroaches. These mates are terrible.
Tess, 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 I'm sick of Tess. I've lived my whole life in the shadow of Tess, and now she wants to live forever. Well, I am not going to spend eternity with her.
Typical women problems. And once again, there's nothing here. I mean, I got a cutscene, but wow, that was a lot of shooting for no reason. But what's worse is here I got stuck. Though it was half my fault because I actually forgot about that extra path back in the woods. I got so immersed in blasting people in hallways, I started forgetting anything else ever existed. But it turns out that wouldn't have saved me anyway. I had to look up a walkthrough and I found something I missed. Okay, here is a key in a caged area from earlier, which I assumed I would activate some switch for later. Nope. What I had to do was walk up to this pillar right here and boom, there we go. That is pretty freaking lame, guys. I think we all realize this should have been a secret and not something required to play the core game. Although if we're being real, I don't even like crap like this as a secret. This may be heresy for some designers, but I feel like if you have a secret to discover in your game, you should give a hint, like a crack in the wall, or maybe you solve a puzzle to find it, or you can see where it is and just have to figure out how to get to it. I don't like raw trial and error of simply spamming the use button on every bare wall you see in the game, hoping you get lucky. And I have seen that from more than a couple games. I mean, it was secret, you got me, but why? Well, that opens up the kitchen and yow, those knives are fast. Look at that. The music is a little too chill here for what's happening. I kind of like it actually, but it belongs more in a lounge or downtown in an adventure game or something. Not fitting the mood. A red door. A blue door. Well wait, there's the red key. Why even bother having this door locked then? Okay, it's a meat locker, and there's the blue key? We're just having keys for their own sake now. And naturally, the blue key lights up the purple dot on my HUD. Yeah, I have to say, I never really liked the Doom style of find the red, blue, and yellow key on every level. But this feels totally different. Here, a new key can unlock an entirely new area of the game, so it actually makes me really look forward to finding them. Ah! Okay, the blue key does not unlock the blue door. They're not kidding about that purple marker. Well, I can still go outside here for the guest kitchen, I guess. There's a lot of good fighting here, but once again, there's nothing here. I mean, there are supplies, but nothing I need to progress. I'm actually perfectly fine with this, except I don't really know where to go next. I like when developers add extra stuff for its own sake, but less so when I'm lost. Oh, the blue key with the purple marker opens the other blue door. But not the purple door. Try to keep up, people.
Finally, you have gathered together enough of my spirits so that I can communicate, but we must hurry. This entire island is trapped in time. Some, like myself, are spirits without a body. Others were less fortunate. They roam the island, poor, hapless zombies. No one can rest while the water clock exists. You must go quickly to the attic and destroy the water clock.
Trapped in time. I'm not really sure what that means if we're still moving around. We'll worry about that later. And once again, I still forgot about that extra wilderness path. And again, it still wouldn't have saved me. I checked the walkthrough again, and this one was on me. Kind of. In that area with all the maids, I missed a switch. Though it's a picky switch, since I tried it earlier, but not hard enough. And that switch leads to another switch, and cockroaches. And that switch leads to another switch, and cockroaches. And that's, okay, I'll stop, but the game doesn't. It keeps doing this to me. Okay, finally, it's the other blue key. Now we're getting somewhere. Inside this blue door is a basement. A lot of fighting, then a wine cellar with a bunch of old ladies throwing bottles at me. And everyone's alcoholic grandmother is down here. Everyone's. I also discovered another mandatory secret here just by dumb luck. I assumed these textures on the wall were just decorative to represent a giant cask, but no. If I click the use button on some of them, that activates a bridge. And sure enough, there's a key. Now, this isn't as bad as the last one, but again, this should not be mandatory. Anyway, the grandmothers aren't hard, but the ammo starts drying up, except for the Molotov cocktails, of which there are plenty. So the game is obviously trying to get me to use them. I don't like these. They're tricky to use, and it always feels like a dice toss if I'm going to hit the target, and it's easy to set yourself on fire too. Sometimes I hit them dead on, other times I just airball them over and over. And of course, they're trying to get me to use splash damage weapons in a cramped area. That's not really the problem, so much as the radius is just too low. It's hard to hit things right in front of me. You can also detonate the bottles you haven't picked up yet. This game wants you to set yourself on fire. Down here, I also found a bunch of crates, so I decided to strafe along the side to make sure nothing caught me by surprise. Turns out that was a bad move. As you can see, this is a very long row of crates. Very long. Okay, what the hell is going on here? Wait, I'm still only here? Oh, they're pulling an infinity trick on me! Yeah, now I see it. But man, that was seamless from the side. And next up is the sewers.
I say, Robert, you haven't been meddling with my specimens, have you?
What specimens were these, Mr. Fleming?
In particular, my dung balls.
You mean those little clots of manure?
Those clots of manure, as you call them, were once pushed by the scarab beetles of Amun-Ra.
Well, they have ample followers now.
Why do you say that?
I dispatched them to the sewer.
Yep.
Would you get me a plunger, Robert?
Yet another game with a quest for shit. I kind of ended up hating this part, but not for why you'd think. I mean, yeah, it's a sewers level, and yeah, the level layout isn't a lot of fun, but it's dark, moody, we're getting a creepy vibe here, and new sewer monster things. No, why I hate this is because there are these small walkways along the sides of every corridor, and when you walk over them, you instantly change your elevation. So there's this constant twitching up and down. Not a fan. Don't hate me because I'm beautiful. Okay, I'll use this. Son of a bitch. Well, the developers thought the sewers were so good, they should double our fun. That's right, there are 2 levels of sewers. That was just the first one. We are swimming in sewage tonight. And I know the game is trying to be creepy, and it's doing a decent job, but I'm pretty sure that sound is just a cat meowing. That's right, kitty. We get a flamethrower. Burn. It handles a lot like the plasma rifle from Doom, except you can catch yourself on fire too. Though that got me thinking, shouldn't plasma weapons in general be catching the enemies on fire? I mean, assuming you have some technology to keep it together to shoot through the air, plasma is so hot it should be catching everything on fire. I alternate between this and the shotgun to conserve ammo, and I actually get into this rhythm I like that doesn't happen in all shooters, where I'm firing a shotgun or something similar non-stop, and it keeps up with the pace of enemies just about right. Just boom, 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 boom. Okay, not that fast, but you get the idea. Yeah, this harkens back to the days when men didn't need to reload. Okay, I'm sparing you from a lot of sewers, but we have a payoff. At the end of it, we have a temple out in the middle of a smaller island. This is great. This is what happens when you don't copy everything Doom does. Oh, and I've heard there's someone documenting if there's something behind the waterfall in basically every video game. Well, there's one. Let's find out. No, nothing there. The temple itself is another cramped mess and has new enemies. Floating Anubis heads, I think, and skeletons with fireballs. They both hit hard. This game is making me claustrophobic.
Wife of Osiris, daughter of Geb, and not hear my plea. Take the essence from my body.
Damn it!
Transfer it.
A lot more fighting. The music here is great, and I get the red vessel. This is good, I guess? But now what? I'm stuck again. What's this vessel do? Hands to hold the infinite? What? I don't have to go this way, do I? I mean, come on, this is a little too tight even for this game. Right? Right? Okay, good. So there's no way out? I have to backtrack out? Yep, I sure do. Okay, you may not realize just how much time it took to get down here. This is surprising. I'm surprised they made the player do this. Just to put it in perspective, I timed it. It took me 8.5 minutes of just backpedaling, no enemies to deal with because I killed them all, to get back to the main hallway to open up new doors. I mean, I got a little lost, but not too badly. We were just so deep into this path, I thought it would loop back somewhere. Been a while since I've seen something like this. I actually don't mind backpedaling, especially if you have locations to show off that you wouldn't mind a second look at. And we have had that. The courtyard, the outside mansion, the temple exterior, wilderness. But no, here it's mostly the cramped temple hallways, the sewers, the wine cellar. That one's okay, I guess. The basement, not what I wanted to see again. Back at the mansion, the theme for the next area was that this game isn't cramped enough, and we really need to just pack those rooms and enemies together. I mean, good God. This unfortunately is what I expect from a mid-90s FPS. But Killing Time is trying to take it to another level. And yes, you can get lost. Look at the map. That's easy to read, right? The path is obvious. And to spice it up, we have the mandatory switch game again. To progress, you hit this switch, then this switch, then this switch. Oh, and remember which switch you hit, because it lets you turn it back and undo whatever you did, and oh God. So this took a while, and my reward for persevering is the Hell Room. I do not like the Hell Room. The theme here seems to be stay on the top because the floor is on fire, but enemies will shoot at you anyway, and you can only look down at about 45 degrees. Now this wouldn't be so bad if the game had good jumping controls. This game does not have good jumping controls. In fact, one of the first things I noticed getting off the boat was how fast you fall from jumping. This planet we're on has a higher gravitational pull than Earth. Again, I don't know whether to blame the original game or playing this on a modern system, but it makes jumping over narrow gaps very unpredictable. Then if you fall, you're in the fire, which hurts, if you can believe that. But let's say I get past this, which I do. What the hell am I supposed to do here? Okay, after shooting everything in sight, which does take some doing, am I just supposed to burn? Is that the plan? There do seem to be very narrow gaps where the fire doesn't hit you, but I can't gauge where those are. Or maybe there isn't a gap and it just looks like there could be? All I'll say is I tried a variety of tactics and they all led to a fiery death. This reminds me of bullet hell games, where if you watch a skilled player, what happens is the sprite for their ship doesn't actually dodge all the bullets. But what's really happening is there's an invisible hitbox for your ship that is smaller than the sprite. And the skilled player can visualize that in their mind and know exactly which pixels are safe or not. But if you're trying to simply not have the visual representation of your ship not come in contact with the projectiles, that can be literally impossible. I don't like bullet hell games either. You know what? Screw this. I'm gonna check other areas and hope I get an upgrade or something. Now the next area is unremarkable except for the music. Listen to this. This is what I would expect for some sort of beach party in the Caribbean, something like that. The game's music does seem to be having a bit of an identity crisis. It's pretty good when it wants to be. It creates a really creepy mood outdoors. And the music that doesn't fit can sometimes be good too. There have only been a couple tracks I haven't liked. It's definitely an above average soundtrack. Though it is compressed with my nemesis of crappy 22 kilohertz ACM wave files though. Oh! Doom closets! Back to the wilderness, which takes me to a lighthouse. And oh god, more jumping. This ended up going without incident. But trust me when I say jumping over these tiny gaps is one of the more stressful aspects of this game. This is Jupiter difficulty. The lighthouse itself is mostly a remix of other areas, but it's just a solid level. Good design. Well, okay, the basement with 1,000 crates isn't my favorite, but the rest is pretty good. We get another vessel, and jumping back again. This sucks. It looks so easy, and it's not. Yeah, sometimes if I get too close to the edge, my character will jump the gun and just start screaming like he's falling. Yeah, he gets it. Alright, time to face the music with the Hell Room. It turns out I forgot about another entrance to it that's a little more viable than the path I was taking. This is easily the worst part of the game. It's so easy to fall off, and if that happens, you're better off just reloading. And look at this damage. One fireball roasts me for 41% health. You do not have armor in this game. But then another one taps me for 3% damage. Interesting spread. It got so bad I was turning to the vessels to see if they could help me. The vessels can activate different abilities, but it's not clear what they are and I didn't feel like troubleshooting them. Plus, what do I have? Ears to hear one's foes.
Here boy, here boy, here boy. Come here, come here, come here.
Nah, I think I'm alright. Okay. Even though I could play half-hour chunks of this game without saving, this part took me multiple loads. It's awful. But I got the key and now I'm never coming back here again. Worst part of the game. Why? Pretty much everywhere else is better. Oh, the music has vocals now. The crazy part is it only plays in this one small room. If I head back, the music changes. If I head into the library, it also switches. If I had to guess, they probably planned to have this more prominent, but then realized this started getting annoying if people kept hearing it over and over while they're wandering around lost. Speaking of which, the library, like much of the game, looks good, is fun, but confusing. I do get a key, then head to the hedge maze. This one is odd. The ghost of the little girl gives us clues, and we're supposed to pick the right door. But you get to see more of the game if you pick the wrong doors also. And I can't always tell what I'm looking at with this resolution.
Some tasty shellfish to pick you up.
Okay, mussels. I got that one. The wrong doors can have a payoff too. Look, that globe gives you 50 health. Ooh, a white vessel. Oh, what the hell? Look at this. Those each take 20 health. I can't dodge them. I'm a dead man. dead man walking. Well, the maze spits me out to that area I thought had no purpose, but more importantly, I have the last key. All the keys. Let's unlock the final door to Tess's bedroom. They're giving us the ghost factor in here.
This ritual will give me eternal life, but one slip up and I could join the pharaohs. Yeah. There's no way this body is going to grow old. No way this mind will grow feeble. I was meant to be young.
Yeah, that's an attitude that'll get you far in life. Okay, into the secret chamber. We still don't have the vessels. This is not the end. But here we get another low-resolution plot point. The Egyptian water clock can only stop time in a small radius. But Byron here has the idea of making symbolic vessels of Tess's body parts and scattering them around the island and using mirrors to extend the time radius. Byron's a magic scientist. He would be good at optimizing RPG builds. So I need to find more vessels, but I thought I was pretty thorough. Okay, I missed one in the library. How silly of me. The caves! I forgot to mention this earlier. I found some caves wandering around and cleared them out, but there was a locked door. I forgot all about it. This was yet another tight and confusing area. Have you ever seen that movie, The Descent? I don't think of myself as claustrophobic, but there are scenes in that movie that, yeah, it was feeling kind of tight in there too. The fact that this game is making me flash back to that says something. I think it's this damn friction from the walls. Okay, I have to check. Did Doom do this? No? What about Duke Nukem 3D? No, it seems clear. What the hell, Killing Time? And listen to this music. The vibe I get here is not creepy cavern. You should watch Ravenous if you want creepy cavern music. What this music says to me is that this is the dramatic climax of a chase scene of an 80s cop show. What do you think? Yeah, not a creepy cavern. But now I can open the door. More cramped caverns. And an underground temple, of course. Yeah, I cannot complain the game does not have enough action. Boom, another vessel. Oh, and I can unlock the side door now. I'm not sure when that happened, but I have all the keys now. I am the keymaster. There is so much out here. A lot of wilderness, the graveyard, which I'm assuming has the names of the developers on the tombstones. I'm not even checking, because they all do this. There's a mausoleum, tunnels under the mausoleum, and some subtle effect with the lighting where I think the mapper spelled out the names of the developers again. There are more caves. No, excuse me, more caverns. Because there's a second semi-big underground cavern area. But there have also been smaller caves sprinkled around the island this whole time. Oh, another waterfall. Nope, nothing behind it. We have a cliffside path, which leads to a cottage. This is one of the nicest spots in the game. Inside, the music is a little too nice for shotgunning fat maids. Look at this stairway. This has to be the tightest one so far. Was the map designer from New York? Boom, another vessel. I love the detail on this rocky road here. And there's another one to go with it. Although I want to point out the music here. Back to the ominous outdoors at night, right? Wind blowing and so on. Okay, it's kind of hard to hear over the shotgun blast, but let's have a listen as I enter the next spooky path. Come on, guys. What are we doing? I think the composer was just rebelling at this point. This isn't goofy comic relief. This is a dangerous and atmospheric path at night. I mean, I get it. It's the 30s, so they'll have some period music. That doesn't mean Dixieland jazz is the answer to everything. This is a complete mental breakdown of the mood. It actually got me hoping for a glitch that's been showing up in the game so far, where sometimes if the action is too heavy, the music just cuts out until you get to the next area. There it is. Actually, this game is not set in the 30s. It's decades after when the incident happened, so the island is still stuck like it's 1932. But it's at least in the 50s, maybe later. Another vessel, one more left. Well, it's in the final attraction, the greenhouse. The very dangerous greenhouse. Actually, it's not. It's in the secret passage you have to open underneath the greenhouse, which requires opening another door, and this jumping puzzle that was a real pain in the ass. Boom. Final vessel. Now we're the Pharaoh. Or something. Back to the chamber. And you may have noticed by now, but the enemies in this game stay dead. I love it. It makes these trips back much more pleasant and gives you a sense like you're actually progressing. There's a sense of calm with things being nice and quiet and 500 bodies around you. That's one thing sprites have going for them too. I can't find the article anymore, but I could swear I read one a while back that was talking about the power of the PlayStation 3 and how it meant that bodies would never fade away in games again. You could have gigantic sprees of killing hundreds of enemies, and now we would finally have the power to display all of them for the duration of the game. I mean, yeah, I guess they don't fade them too much in linear games nowadays, but we don't really see it on this scale much. Well, here we are, living the dream in 1996. I like it. Alright, here are the stupid vessels. Is my watch working again or what? Nope. But I can open these rainbow doors now. Inside is the longest cutscene so far, where the bootlegger wants to get married, Tess finds this hilarious, then disses him pretty hard and asks him to go get her a drink. But he decides to stab her instead. Ruh-roh. Yeah, I don't think I would have majorly insulted somebody involved in organized crime myself, but wisdom hasn't been Tess's strong suit so far. That's a nice touch that they lined up the cutscene with the bloodstain on the box. There's no body here though. Another cutscene! With her dying breath, she apparently used her blood to activate the magical water clock and freeze time. She also cursed the bootlegger to be possessed by Set and go mad with power. And I think the game missed a horror opportunity here, since if Tess froze time after being stabbed, wouldn't she be in that state, dying for all eternity? Just saying, I'm still not seeing a body, or the water clock. Ah!
I am now the avatar of Set, ruler of the night. Your soul belongs to me.
Yeah, you know how many times that's been said to me?
You cannot kill me, mortal!
Yeah, I guess that would be a little anticlimactic if all I did was blow him away with a shotgun. And I was confused at first, but found out what I needed to do. This got ugly. You see those lights coming from the windows? I have to travel around the mansion and blow up the additional Egyptian water clocks, or amplifiers or something, by opening these rainbow doors. The catch is Set is chasing me now. He teleports constantly with this awful loud buzzing sound. He hits hard. And every time I kill him, he resurrects back in my face in just a few seconds. How few, you may ask? Well, from looking at the footage, it seems to vary from 11 to 18 seconds. That's all the time killing him buys me. And I have to fight enemies in the new areas on top of fighting him. Though at least these stay dead. This part feels awful, because as you may have noticed, running around the mansion trying to figure out where to go isn't fun with someone trying to kill you every 15 seconds. The areas in the unlocked doors all look the same too. It's just generic stone texture with some Egyptian trimmings at the top. We do get some 80s action music in them though. I guess that works. So yeah, I hate this. But it is the final boss conflict, so I guess I can't complain too much. If it was me, I would say let's take this fight outside, where there's space. Then he could teleport on top of a rocky outcropping and laugh at me from above while he summons 50 minions or something. Then periodically comes down to take a swipe at me, then I can get a couple shots off. Then repeat that 2 more times. I don't know, that's not exactly original, but I like the sound of that better than this. And I'm still confused about what freezing time actually means. I mean, if people are moving around, do we just not age? See, I thought freezing time would look kind of like this. Where the outside world is moving normally, but we're at a vastly decelerated rate? Why would my clock stop, but I don't? I'm putting too much thought into it, but the story's been better than I thought. I like it better than The Seventh Guest. Alright, that's the last one. Now back to the attic, because he's still coming for me. Psst. And there goes the water clock. Cinematic! A mysterious figure. Oh, like I hadn't tried that. Like I hadn't tried shooting him. Okay, what's he saying here? Grandma?
Grandma.
Yep, it's Tess.
I should have killed you when I had the chance.
Well, you stabbed her in the chest. That's an A for effort. I guess the actors are happy we can see their faces, because we sure weren't getting any of that earlier.
My soul is whole once again. I suppose I should thank you. The evil of Duncan and Set have been defeated, my murder avenged. With the powers granted to me by Isis, I have become immortal.
Cool.
I no longer need the water clock to keep this island in thrall. Matinicus is mine once more. No living soul will ever dwell here again. And now for your reward. You shall have the honor of staying with us on this island forever.
Mixed feelings. Oh, another boss fight! Oh! No, she got me. Wait, why shoot me if I'm just... Alright. Well, I tried this again because I had some things stacked against me. You may not have noticed that Set took a chunk out of me right after the cutscene ended, so this wasn't a fair fight. But even with that, this fight wasn't happening. I tried the Ankh weapon on her, which I had been saving the whole game. She just laughs, so I guess that's not effective? Though she also laughed when attacking her normally. If you keep your distance, that doesn't work because she'll spawn in skulls from behind you. I had to go through this a few times and found the most effective method was to hold down the run key and circle strafe constantly. Anything else means you're probably gonna die. The problem is, I still die. I mean, damn, she is just taking absolutely everything I throw at her. Then, once I was getting down to the last of my bullets, it hit me. I had been low on flamethrower fuel. I only had a third of a tank. So that means reloading an old save and doing a supply run while Set is chasing me. And you know how much I love that by now. Okay, I found some flamethrower fuel. But Set took a bite out of me this time. This may still not be enough. No, it is! I didn't even need the bullets. Yet another game where burn everything was the secret, but burn harder.
Hargrove was right all along. The water clock and its power were very real, just as real as Tess's greed and treachery. The Archaeological Society will be fascinated if I can produce some proof of the clock's existence. I'll return to the island tomorrow with the right equipment so that I can gather the clock's ashes and properly catalog any remnants I can find. With proof, the Society will certainly fund me to fully investigate the Conway estate. Maybe they'll even spring for a new watch.
Huh, so I was an archaeologist. You know, I still haven't watched the newest Indiana Jones, but from what I've heard, I'm guessing this story was better than that. And we get some more Dixieland jazz in the credits. The end. Yeah, see, now it's okay to play that. Not during the spooky road at night. Wow, what a game. I want to say this was honestly a best case scenario for the game dungeon. A game that's off the beaten path, that I'm unfamiliar with, that has a bad reputation that ends up being good. I would say this game is 70% very good, with a couple segments that are awful, and the rest is just a bunch of cramped corridors. Oh yeah, that hell room. That really was the worst spot in the game. Nothing else on the island came close. Besides the first boss fight. I hated that too, but you're supposed to hate your boss. Or something. The pacing of the game was fantastic. The map design was often great. The music was pretty good. The gameplay was competent. Yeah, it's a good game, even if it tries to stab you once or twice. Although I say all this from my ivory tower of mouse aiming. If you only had the keyboard or gamepad, I could see some parts leaving a bad taste in your mouth. So I think this is a game that's literally gotten better with time. The 3DO version had to have been worse. I didn't look at it much since I didn't want to spoil things for myself, but yeah, the maps don't look as good. Rah 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 rah. Oh damn! The movie clips look a lot better. Oh, we got robbed on that. You can make out their faces and everything. Well, I'm still glad I played the PC version. In fact, I want to say for my taste, I think this is my new second favorite Doom era FPS. I think Strife still wins out for me. It's the more consistently good experience. But this was damn good when it wasn't awful. System Shock is just too wonky with the controls for me. I mean, the obvious successor to this is Clive Barker's Undying. Though I'd say that's not a pure upgrade. I think Undying is scarier, but I kind of prefer this combat more. Plus, killing time is non-linear and has more of a Metroid map flow to it. I'd love to see more map design like this. In any event, there's no way the development team of Undying didn't play this game. If not Clive Barker himself, then at least one of the designers. The similarities are too strong. Yeah, there's a million Doom clones, but how many first-person shooters have a non-linear world unfolding style like this, with enemies that stay dead? Not many. Something like this would be a natural for speedrunners. There's loads of shortcuts you can take, and the optimal path isn't immediately clear. Finally, the game had a surprise for me, because there's more than one definition of killing time. There's the usual expression of killing time by finding something to do while you're waiting, but then there's killing time, which I thought for sure was the definition being used by this game. But no, it was a third literal definition. Time itself was being killed. Oh, ho, 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 ho. That's the episode. Have a happy Halloween, and stay tuned for the next episode, which was supposed to be this one, but I did that thing again where I'm in the wrong sequence. Yeah, this game's not the only one that can have time distortion that doesn't make sense. Aha!
First look up and then look down. Never play with the naughty clown.